Holy 100 flops! This is Flight Check, Season 5, Episode 24. We're back one more time, talking all aspects of FlyQuest. My name, as always, is Sandy Toes. To my left and my extra left are Fisheye Lens Noxwar and Curly Double Q. We've all got glasses on tonight. Collectively, there are 12 eyes on screen.
12 eyes or 4
right
eyes?
now. Did you guys, were you ever
Realize?
called Four Eyes as a kid? Like, did anyone ever try to insult you with four eyes? I've been wearing glasses since I was like 4 or 5. I've never had that happen to me.
See, I didn't get glasses till like my sophomore year of high school when I realized you're not supposed to force yourself to tear up to provide temporary lenses to read the whiteboard.
Whoa.
So no, by that by that time, it was pretty normal. In fact, the only people that have ever called me Four Eyes are fellow glass wearers. In my 20s even.
Nice.
You know. Yeah, right?
Nox, how about you?
I'm the fake one here.
Okay.
These are not like these are blue light glasses. Like I do
This dude's trying to protect his eyes.
all my computer use, but like I don't need glasses. I don't have contacts. My eyes are naturally okay, so I'm the fake one out here. Sorry.
Well, yeah,
Just flex on us, why don't you?
I mean, the odd one out, you know, much like 100 Thieves was the odd team out this past weekend as they got obliterated in a clean 2-0 by FlyQuest. Couple other very interesting results as we go around the league with our first topic of discussion tonight. Nox, Curly, we were incredibly wrong last week when we all were like, this could be another week of 2-0s. And
It was not.
while there were a couple 2-0s, there were some other very surprising results. The least of which being Lion, with Surdy substituting in, takes down Team Liquid 2-1. What is more impressive to you guys? Lion beating TL 2-1 at all, or Surdy coming in and making a name for himself on like what, a few days of scrims with this team? What's the more surprising thing for you, Curly?
I mean, I think I'm gonna have to go. Yeah,
Like it's a
I think we're
team
kind of like
versus
both
individual
are.
performance, you know?
yeah. It is really both of them. I think I'm gonna lean towards Surdy, because it's good. You don't really expect that kind of bounce back, when you had the kind of year that he was having over on Dignitas, because
Yeah.
it was like a few fleeting moments of like good, but with a lot of like it just not to the player that was promised. But and like I always had hope for him, but I just was not seeing him able to thrive. So for him to come back and go against Team Liquid on such short notice and be able to like stand up against a veteran like Impact, and then I felt still wasn't just like, okay, I'm holding my own against Impact. Like he was meaningful to the team play from the highlights that I was able to see. It's just really good, and yeah, definitely a little bit more surprising because seriously, like that is short notice. He was a streamer for a week, and then suddenly he is over as an emergency sub for Lion and getting them a game against Team Liquid, well, a series rather.
Yeah. And Nox or Curly, I don't know if you guys have heard any news. Is there any update on Zamudo or if Surdy's going to continue playing with Lion for the foreseeable future? Do we know that?
On pros, like they never 100% confirmed, but they were talking like Zamudo should be making an appearance this week.
Okay, interesting. That they feel very good that his visa issues will be solved.
it sounds like they should be solved, but like they were also very careful not to be like, yeah, this is happening, you know?
Yeah. And that makes sense. Well, I mean, Curly, then I think the question for me, do you put Zamudo in, or do you leave Surdy in? I know. Because I feel like, here's a question I don't know. Has Zamudo been with the team scrimming, and they've just had to bring in these subs the whole time?
He has been scrimming with the team the whole time,
Okay.
and actually also on pros, Sven, Isles, and Contracts were all praising Zamudo and what he was bringing to the Lion team in scrim.
Wow.
And to specifically quote Sven, I quote, he has something funny about him that can help him take games off of top teams.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
So is Lion finally the prince that was promised? I recall us singing their praises early in Split 2 when they looked good. And then it kind of all collapsed. Curly, is this the resurgence of Lion Gaming? They're currently sitting in 5th. Ironically, they are in game score still 1 behind TL, thanks to obviously taking a 2-0 loss to Cloud9 in week 1. But now, Lion, unfortunately, having to play us this next week.
Yeah, 100 Thieves like really messed everything up for a lot of people here.
Yeah, right.
Really, Shopify Rebellion, like, I know they're having to play 100 Thieves, but they made out like bandits,
Yes.
man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, for sure. So, Curly, what do you think? Like, obviously, Lion feels like the odds are good that they will be starting in the bottom 4, right? But is there a world where, like, you know, now they get to, maybe they make it out of round 1 losers, and they go up against a Shopify, a TL in round 2, and they, like, start making a run. What do you think here?
No, I could definitely see them making round 3. Hell, even round 4, depending on how things go.
Yeah.
Because I do see them doing better this split. Now, granted, they also came out kind of hot in split 2 and fizzled out, so I'm weary to get too hype on them.
Right.
Especially because I feel like we've seen, I mean, obviously we've seen, but we saw 2 very different Lions. Because Lion with Yayo didn't quite really feel all that impressive. Lion with Surdy, obviously taking the game off Team Liquid. And so if Zamudo is supposed to be an improvement, if he's like a regular part of the team for the rest of the split, then I think they can maintain like a good trajectory through the rest of the season before we get into, I mean, shoot, I don't even know what this regional championship is going to look like. How they would have to get 3rd place to make the championship. So I don't know how far they can go per se, but they can at least make it interesting.
Knox, what do you think? Lion doing well in a lower bracket run? Do you have any faith that maybe they could finally put up a decent performance?
So I have faith that they can beat Dignitas or Disguised in a best of 5, no problem. And that'll be like their first lower bracket playoff match that they would have, right?
Yeah.
Past that point, though, I would imagine that they're probably playing one of either Shopify or Team Liquid, maybe 100 Thieves, depending how things shake out or something like that, but I doubt it. I could see a world where maybe they could take down Shopify if Shopify's still kind of acting sleepy like they were against Disguise, but I don't think they're beating down Team Liquid, and that I think that's probably where they drop out of the playoffs race. I don't really see them making a run, but I do see them making games more competitive. And you know what? That's fine by me. You can only have a certain number of winners. And I expect this team to continue to make improvements going into next year as well. But for the time being, I just don't think they have enough time to really like level up.
Right. Well, I think it'll be a really interesting narrative to watch. Other narratives around the league, obviously Disguised taking a game off of Shopify, taking game 1, Shopify then cruising back into control with the 2-1. So now top 3 is us and Cloud9, Shopify in 3rd, and Team Liquid sitting in 4th, where they belong.
Fantastic.
So just looking at this, like, this is basically shaping up to be the same top 4 that we had at the end of Split 2. If I want you guys to do me a favor here and pick a team from the bottom 4 that you think has the best shot at surprising and breaking into top 4.
I mean, obviously, Lion.
All right, I'll rephrase. Not Lion. Between the final 3. Disguised, 100 Thieves, Dignitas.
It's got to be 100 Thieves, right? I mean, you still have Quid, who's an ex-MVP at one point. You have River, who, in my opinion, should have been MVP that split.
Mm-hmm.
You have FBI, who does still have moments of, like, just greatness. He does have them still. Regardless of the overall quality, he has moments where it's like, man, you are clearly playing at a top-tier level. Like, I think for me, it's just this team is a mix of, like, how hard do we want to try? The org's gone. River's retiring at the end of this. I really feel like if they lock in, they can still be an absolutely terrifying team to deal with, man. Like, they've had a rough go of it so far. They had Team Liquid into FlyQuest, and now they are playing Shopify. I would not be overly shocked if 100 Thieves actually ends up taking a win off of Shopify next weekend. It's well within the playbook for them.
Curly, in a response?
I mean, I think y'all are going to think I'm crazy, but my money would be more on Disguise than 100 Thieves. You know, I know.
Wow.
I know it sounds crazy, but I mean, first off, they're facing Dignitas next week, and I'll be damned if I ever say Dignitas is better than anyone else. So, because, like, both on principle, but then on reality, it's just like, I haven't seen anything interesting enough from the roster change to make me think that they actually have any trajectory, whereas Disguise actually managed to take a game. And they actually, like, look relatively stable at some moments. So I think they have a better shot between them, 100 Thieves, and Dignitas, because even though 100 Thieves should have the raw power overall, like the other two teams, I just am not seeing it from their team play. Like, yes, they have a great opening in their games. They are very scrappy, and they, like, really were kind of putting us on the fence this weekend at the start at some moments, but overall the energy just isn't there. Whereas I think Disguise might have shown a little bit more stability. So I think outside of Lion, Disguise is like my big sleeper of the bottom half.
Yeah, to me, Disguised could be interesting. I think Dignitas to me just seems completely dunzo. Like, it's time to pack up, close up the bakery, perhaps, and sell the pastry shop. Because
so as much as I want to be a hater with y'all on Dig, I do want to point out that Dig actually gave Cloud9 a massive run for their money this weekend. It was a 2-0 in favor of Cloud9, but the games were, like, they made Cloud9 work in both of those games. Mm-hmm. It was actually really hard for Cloud9 to close those games out.
No, and I think that's reasonable. I just don't see them spectacularly turning it around.
Oh, yeah, no, they're not. But, like, don't sleep on them either. Like, they gave Cloud9 a really good run for their money, in my opinion.
Yeah. You know what I honestly think we should do at this point is next year LTA North should just be C9, Liquid, FlyQuest, and Shopify, and you just play, like, 5 best of 3, like pentuple round robin best of 3s. You know, everyone plays the other teams 5 times. You wind up getting 15 best of 3s per team. So, you know, it's like, and it'd be much more high quality matches. Who says no?
To expand on this a little bit, here we go. Two things. One, what is y'all's opinion of the LCK format or even the LPL format right now, where the top whatever number of teams has their own group and the bottom number of whatever number of teams has their own group, and they play amongst each other, right?
Yeah.
That's the first part of this question. Do y'all like that?
Yes.
Yes, asterisk.
Okay, what's your asterisk?
We don't have enough orgs for that to be interesting.
That's fair. If you added 2 more teams, I could be a little bit more behind it. But I'm still behind it, I would say.
So, okay. Now let me expand this. Why not have 2 groups of 4? And you'll have your top 4 from this split and your top 4 from your bottom 4 from this split as well, right? Mm-hmm. And you can do like a little preliminary round robin stage, like, because theoretically we'd be implementing this next year, right? We'll say winter split's like the preliminary thing, and come split 2, this is when you implement this.
Right.
And so the top 4 would have their own group, and they would get the weekends. They would come in, they would play on the LTA stage, and they would play a best of 5. Best of 5 Saturday between 2 teams, and best of 5 Sunday between 2 teams, right? And then you rotate that for 3 weeks, and then during the weekdays, to save on time and money for Riot, and because you're in the lower end of the group, you do not deserve to play on stage because you did not perform well enough for it. You then play during the weekdays online, and you just have casters casting you online, like it's NACL.
Yeah. And you get like Grapes,
for the playoffs,
and you get Cubby and some of those guys.
Yes. Yeah. And then if you qualify from that group into the playoffs, then you're allowed to come back to the playoff stage. You make your grand entrance. You're back, baby. We're here to kick some ass. We survived the group of low. We're here to show the upper group, like, what's up. We've grinded. Like, you can make all sorts of different storylines out of it, right?
I think what you have to do here, then, is you have to call that bottom group Purgatory, and the and the stage group is Heaven, you know? Which kind of was what LPL did by calling their groups Nirvana and Ascend. Yeah. They kind of went that route.
Oh my god.
I think Purgatory would be a little bit more on the nose.
Yeah, that may be a little too.
And then when you have like the relegation match between the the promoting NACL team and the and the bottom LTA team, then you call that match like the 13th circle match, and and then at that point you just get like one of the casters, like you get Azael. He just starts cosplaying as Dante, and it starts writing epic poetry, and then all of a sudden we've got one of the greatest formats of all time. Like, who says no?
God.
All right, I'm ready for it. We gotta rate this.
Oh my gosh.
To Riot.
Yeah.
How did we get here?
I don't know.
Okay, but like legit though, I would love to see this format go next year, where it's you have 2 groups of 4, and one upper group, one lower group, and then because Riot always is having issues struggling with Valorant and League, you can have your best of 5s between 2 teams on the weekends, and the best of 5s between the 4 teams that are in the lower group on the weekdays. Saves so much time, more matches for everyone. I think it's just a win-win across the board.
No, I like it. And speaking of win-wins, FlyQuest did 2-0 100 Thieves this past weekend. So let's get into that a little bit with a little bit of review. This one, not like a total stomp because of Game 2, and 100 Thieves, I would actually say, kind of scrappy with it. At times as well. They were putting up a fight, but we just really had their number. I think it was Game 2 maybe, where both Bwipo and Quad were like halfway to level 18 at minute 26, which is just absolutely crazy. Which just really goes to show the dominance. Bwipo especially styled on Sniper. I thought he really showed him who was boss. I want to just get y'all's takeaways. I don't know if there's a lot to talk about here, but just thoughts on this. This is a weird phase because we're basically just playing only weak teams right now. We've played Disguised and 100 Thieves, and next week we play Lion. So, we're not really playing like the elite cream of the crop. So, like, how much can we take away from this 100 Thieves victory in reality? Curly, what do you think?
I mean, the fact that it was a 2-0 and it went as expected is the important thing for me, because I am not one to just scoff like, okay, they're the worst team, it doesn't matter that we won against them. It's like, okay, you did what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
You affirm, yes, we are the better team. We cleanly stopped them. Like, does that have as much internal impact? No, but it's just something where it's like you need to like have that. It's I remember this like random conversation around must-win games and the concept that every game is a must-win game, because that's truly how I believe. It's like you should treat every game like that, because if you let yourself think that an opponent isn't worth the effort, that's how they punch up and that's how you fall off.
Right.
So, yeah. Is it the biggest impact? No. It just affirms, yes, we know where we are.
Knox, what do you think? What is there really to take away from this 2-0 victory?
This for me kind of just feels similar to when teams go over to China for like Worlds or MSI or whatever, and it's like you get on the Chinese super server and everything's just scrap. Let's just scrap, fight.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the 100 Thieves matches right now are just kind of coming down to like, let's test our mechanical skill, which actually I really think the guys need a lot, which is good. Especially Quad. I think Quad needs to test his mechanical skills a little bit, and I thought he actually had a pretty good showing, in my opinion. I was pretty happy with how his Yone play looked.
Mm-hmm.
So in general, I was pretty happy with that in that regard, because here's the thing: 100 Thieves has no macro. They never had any macro. They don't know how to go around the map, and it's like our big thing, right? We know how to macro around the map. That is exactly our biggest strength. And so for me, I like 100 Thieves, and I hope we actually scrim them more, because I think we just need the mechanical tests more than anything.
Yeah.
I think we've kind of got the macro down on lock. And so I think if we can get that and scrim them a little bit in that sense and just really test our mechanics and hands diff them, like I think we can be a really, truly scary team, right? So overall takeaway is I thought it was a great scrim set on stage for us.
Yeah, I think, this was what was the expected result, obviously. Like, some people might call this, one of those scheduled wins, perhaps. This result is not shocking to anyone, I think. And, it's like one of those weird things where it's like, a month ago, we were playing Gen.G, right? And, like, for some incredibly serious stakes. We then, had the BLG match as well, and that went to 5 games, right? Like, some crazy high stakes best of 5s, and then you like bring it back to these, domestic best of 3s where we're just beating up on these weak teams. It's hard for me to really take anything away from them. Where it's like, yep, we beat them handily. Cool, let's get to playoffs already and get to some meaningful matches, please. Like, I want to see us play Cloud9 again. I want to see Shopify. I even want to see Team Liquid. Like, I think I'm just ready to... It's like, okay, another, like, playoff qualifying phase. It's just like, I think this is my problem with kind of, like, the current balance of power is that, like, we know the top 4 teams. Like, we just do. Just, like, let's just go ahead, get ourselves over to playoffs, and start, whittling down the teams. Because right now I'm just like, a lot of these matches just don't feel very meaningful. Obviously, yes, Lion beat Team Liquid. That really is shaking things up. It's knocked Liquid down a peg. They're going to have to do some work to, make their way. They got to play Cloud9. Like, that's not going to be easy for them. They might, they could wind up, even in, like, the bottom bracket, right? Like, there's a crazy world where that happens. So, which actually I think Yeah, like if Disguised somehow 2-0s and Liquid loses 0-2 to Cloud9, they would both be 1-2 at a 3-4 game score. Now, I don't know how the tiebreakers work out, but that's certainly not something I would want to be in, a position that I would want to be in if I was Team Liquid, right? Where you're tied with Disguised at the end of the split, right? So I think besides like a couple things, everything's just kind of going to chalk, and I'm just ready to kind of move on.
So if I recall correctly, the tiebreaker is where you came in the split 2, in which case TL would obviously have a higher record than them. So
Okay.
I think no matter what, Team Liquid is finishing above Disguised.
Well, that's nice for them. Do they deserve it? Who knows? We're going to find out. So, who knows? All right. So actually, this gets to the final thing I want to talk about tonight, which is the pick and play. This format that originally was going to be very different. And now that there was some extra time, and Fearless came in, and they put in more best of fives. So this pick and play deal originally was supposed to extend into weeks 4, 5, and 6, if you all will recall. And after week 3, the top teams were supposed to continue. The top teams were supposed to start picking the teams below them and play them in best of threes. Loser eliminated from everything. And that was just supposed to be how things went until we got down to 3. Now we've got, or until we got down to 6, maybe, I think it was. Now we've got this full 8-team bracket where still the top teams will get to pick. So, like, sure, if Lion finishes in 5th, they get to pick between, Disguised, 100 Thieves, and Dignitas as to who they want to play in that first losers round, which is definitely a big advantage for them. But this is very different from what we were sold, and at the same time, this whole format where it's like, oh, you get to pick your opponent, I'm not really sure that I'm, like, really enjoying it so much. Curly, what do you think of the format so far? Is it working out? I do have another thought on it, but I want to get y'all's takes on how this format is working out for LTA so far.
I think it's interesting. I do like that they made the whole banners and stuff. I think it adds like a good little bit of potential hype to it. I think it's just overall like the showmanship of it all isn't really quite there at the moment. I think the biggest seller you can make for this though is the Lion Team Liquid pick, because Lion obviously had to pick Team Liquid. So the fact that they were able to take a win off of it, it's like, hey, maybe if you're like one of those middle of the pack teams and you have the right to pick, you can pick your way to the top half real quick if you get a good read on who you can take a game against. The downside I see from it is it leads to a potential of some teams not playing, like you said, some teams not playing each other until later in the split. Like the fact that we're not going to face C9 until we get to those playoffs brackets and everything is kind of, I don't know. I mean, granted, I think we only think about that because maybe that's the case now, but then also if we had just had a normal format, C9 might not have been scheduled for us till week 4 or week 6 or week 7 anyway. Yeah. It's just the fact that we can see it not possible makes us kind of a little more about it, So I think it's an all right concept. I would personally want to see the production aspect and the publication of it just more interesting, because I don't think it's having that much of an impact on the actual games themselves.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. Knox, what's your take on pick and play so far?
I thought the idea was cool. I think it would be better if there was more parity in the league, right? Where it's like anyone can kind of take a game off of anyone right now.
Yeah.
The reality is, like, you have Lion who can kind of punch up a little bit into the 3rd, 4th slot, but no one's really punching up to FlyQuest Cloud9 right now, right? And then even the 2 teams that could maybe do it, Shopify and Team Liquid, they're not getting the opportunity to because I mean, that's just not how the system works right now. So for me, at the end of the day, the concept is cool, and maybe in a different era of more parity or a different iteration, I think it could find success. But I think my biggest struggle right now, and I think I've been harping this all year long, is I think Riot just needs to accelerate some of these group stage days, right? I almost, I'm very tempted. But if you're going to do this giant 8-team kind of sort of playoff bracket, I'm almost convinced that I'd rather you just do 2 weeks of like expedited best of ones. Like just slam as many best of ones into 2 weekends as possible, where you play like every single team in the league. You do like three games on win weekend, and you do 4 games on the next, and you rip them all out, and there's just a shit ton of games, and then it's like, okay, hey, there's your seeding.
Right.
Like that's almost like how I almost want it done, because I feel like that's almost more fair than what's happening right now, where it's these like lower teams are picking upper teams, and then they still getting stomped anyway, and yeah. So at least in the best of one scenario, you see everyone play everyone once. It's like super fast, and so it's just like, hey man, how prepped are you? How ready are you to like be able to just go back to back? I think it makes the actual round robin, so to speak, a lot more exciting, because you can be like, hey man, I'm gonna get super invested for this weekend. Yeah, I think in general, it just, again, the idea was cool. I think the execution on this just failed in a lot of ways. Because yeah. Lee in chat points out a good thing. Shopify, or another thing, Shopify like was just, they made out like bandits in this format, man. And then Lion got absolutely screwed by their format.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I do wonder, like, okay, actually, so Lee in the chat nailed what I was going to say about this, which is that this format is a lot better if you have 10 teams in the league. Like, imagine this in, like, LPL or LCK, where, like, all of a sudden, you know, a bottom team like RNG, wow, imagine saying that in the year of our Lord, 2025, a bottom team like RNG can pick, crazy, like, oh, they're going to play Thunder Talk, right? Which is, like, a much more reasonable matchup for them to decide to take versus, like, an RNG selects anyone's legend. And it's like, you know, what are we doing? Like, you know, there's no, you know, a league, an LPL league of, like, OMG, RNG, you know, Thunder Talk, and FPX, plus AL, JDG, Top Esports, and Weibo. It's like, okay, you know, like, what are we trying to do here? You know, there's no parity in that league. It's so, you know, you've got a bottom half and a top half, clearly. So I think if there was more of, like, a soup, perhaps, to borrow an antiquated expression from one Mark Zimmerman, I think that this format would work out a lot more, because then you could have, like, a number 9 team picking the number 6 or 5 team, and that, to me, is a lot more of what they're going for here, which is kind of that gauntlet King of the Hill style that I think is really exciting, where it's like, hey, yeah, we didn't do so well last week, but now we're going to challenge the team 2 or 3 spots ahead of us, and we're going to show that, yeah, we can take them down, and we belong there. But now you've got teams that are, like, 5 or 6, and they're stuck picking, like, the number 1 team, when they should be just able to pick, like, the 3 or 4 team and try to challenge there. So I think it makes it difficult to get excited about this format when, so far, 2 weeks in a row, frankly, even week 1, so 3 weeks in a row, I've looked at the schedule and I've just been like, well, none of these are exciting. The only one upcoming this week that I'm like, oh, I want to see that, is Team Liquid versus Cloud9. That's the only one.
Wait, you don't want to watch Dig versus DSG?
I frankly, I don't. I really don't want to watch that. Like, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm a bad LTA fan for not wanting to watch 2 Garbo tier teams, you know, run around like chickens with their heads cut off. But that's just not interesting to me. I want to see good League of Legends, and TL Cloud9 is going to be it. Maybe FlyQuest Lion, depending on how Zamudo plays. But like, I just don't see it happening. So yeah. So
Yeah.
what I am looking forward to though is that playoffs after this week does begin. And we start getting, to me, what feels like meaningful matches. The 5 through 8 playing each other, the 1 through 4 playing each other. And that's actually where kind of like the gauntlet feel kicks in a little bit, right? Where you're going to have teams dropping down to lower bracket. You're going to have teams trying to move forward, make that lower bracket run. And that's exciting. That is compelling to me. But right now, when I'm like, all right, so who do we got week 1? Oh, Disguised? Yawn. All right, who we got week 2? 100 Thieves? They've been kind of mid. Oh, yep, they are kind of mid. All right, who do we got week 3? Lion? Okay, well, they beat TL, but still, it's like, where's Cloud9? Where's the Shopify match? Where's the Team Liquid match? Like, that's what I want to be seeing, and we have to wait, like, another week to be able to watch that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see any of the upper bracket teams after this week until August 23rd.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's going to be a minute. Okay, here's my question. Let's say that us and Cloud9 both 2-0. I believe we would still get to make the first pick.
Correct.
According to your tiebreaker rules, Knox.
Yep.
Who, presuming it's Cloud9, Shopify, and TL in the upper bracket with us, who do we pick for that first best of 5? Because, don't forget, winner of that first best of 5 secures top 3. And means you're going to the regional championship. So
yeah, I'm taking Shopify still.
I think you still take Shopify, right?
Like Team Liquid does not look good, but you also have to consider the history of Team Liquid and what you have to still consider the players on that team, right? They still absolutely have a bunch of firepower. Yan is still a very, very scary player. He's still very much like in contention with Masu for best AD carry in the region. That man can absolutely win you a series. Not even just games, like a series.
Yeah.
So, with that said, I think Shopify has they're kind of the frauds in the top 4 right now. They've had a very easy 2 weeks so far. They got another decently easy week coming up this weekend, I think. They've looked a little bit sleepy. They dropped a game to Disguised. There's no reason that you should pick Shopify in the opening round.
I disagree with you guys. I want to throw it down and take Team Liquid right away.
Okay.
You kidding me?
But is that just because you want them out, or?
No, they are the easiest to beat. Shopify has objectively taken more games off of us in Split 2 and 3 than Team Liquid has all year. It's like Shopify might be potentially the frauds. However, they do have some kind of read on us that Team Liquid just does not have. And so I really do think that Team Liquid is actually like the weakest team because, like, yes, Shopify has had a relatively easy schedule, but I mean, let's look at what did Team Liquid have before they lost to to Lion. Disguise? Is that who they were? Oh, 100 Thieves. So they had 100 Thieves and Lion, and they lost to Lion. I'm not sold on them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest. So I think 100 Thieves is like the easiest pick of my life once we get to pick. Now is that what they're gonna go with? I don't know. But I know that's what I would want.
No, I think it's a very interesting discussion. I think you're basically picking between Shopify and Liquid, unless you think you can take down Cloud9 right away, and you want to send them to the lower bracket. I mean,
that would be a very ballsy move. That would be a power.
It would be a bold start. It would be
a very bold start for sure. Which is why I don't think it's going to happen. I think you got to play it safe. Just make it. You just got to make it to regionals. That's all you got to do. Just make it to regionals. Qualify for Worlds. It's that easy. Besides Furia, you should be able to beat those LTA South teams. All right. Well, I think that's basically everything for this week. Any final topics that we got to consider before we close out?
We can't really think of anything. I mean, we could check in real quick on the LTA South, see how they're doing.
Griffin. So I've been actually watching LTA South in the mornings before I go
Okay.
out for the day. I've actually been watching a fair amount of Loud play, and man, they're like right on the cusp of being good, but they're not good. They're not good. Outside of that, it's your usual suspects. Payne is looking good right now.
Yeah.
Furia actually dropped Series 2 Payne, funnily enough, which I don't know how that happened. Because
It was 2-1.
Well, yeah, it was 2-1, but like they should have the same format as us, in which case how did Payne and Furia end up playing each other week 2?
It could have been so Furia Oh yeah, how did they win?
I don't know.
Okay, I bet
I don't
here's
know.
okay. So we can figure this out. FXW7 and Leviathan both 0-2'd, right? So they're bottom 2. Vikings and Red 2-1'd, so they are like 3-4, right? Because they didn't 2-0. And Isurus and Loud both 1-2'd, so they're 5-6. FXW7 picks Isurus. Leviathan picks Viking. So that's both of your 0-2 teams and your two that's both your 0-2 teams out.
Oh, okay.
One of your 1-2 teams out, and one of your 2-1 teams out. That leaves Loud,
who picked Canids.
Loud, who picked Canids, Isurus, who's already been picked by Fluxo W7, and then remaining is
Furia and Payne.
Wow, what a
yeah.
crazy matchup to have happen in week 2.
Yes, and then Payne takes down Furia, which is remarkable. I actually need to check on my we got to do a fantasy check actually because I picked a couple Vivo Keydstars players.
I picked Jose Dioto, and I'm happy.
In fact, I only picked Bull, and also I picked 2 Loud players, and that did not work out for me. But I also had 2 Shopify players, and that did help me out. So
I actually had a very meh week overall. All of my what was my average? I want to say I have like an average of just below 20 between all of my players.
Yeah.
So I will admit I forgot week 1.
I also forgot week 1, so I'm very far behind.
See, I did not. What happened to Palafox in that game 1 against Disguised? Oh my.
Yeah, who knows?
So, yeah, of course. So I picked Inspired, thinking he was gonna just absolutely blow out 100 Thieves, and then he kind of runs it down game 2. So he got 21 points. I went for double Shopify players, thinking they were gonna blow out Disguise, and they did not. Fudge only got me 12. Palafox got me 20. And then Tomo, unfortunately, I just had to have a 80 carry of some sort, so I just was like, get in here, Tomo. I thought he would be okay. That let me down. He got me 7. My best player was Ackerman from Icarus Gaming at 22.3.
Great pick.
Amazing.
Good pick.
Yeah.
It's so hard for me to include LTA South players because I just like don't watch it. And so I'm just like, it's a crapshoot every time. I'm like, I hope that this guy performs.
Here's the thing: you don't even have to watch it because I haven't watched it either. But you can vibe check the certain things, just key
what's your list?
Players. My list is Jose Dioto. I will pick on jungle no matter what. I don't care. And so then if you're picking your ADC, because here's the thing: my ADC and my sup are always like my lowest points.
Yeah.
So I have to think about, all right, who's going to overperform? And Ackerman has always been like actually pretty reliable. Redbird is inconsistent. And when I don't pick him, he does great. And when I do pick him, he forgets he's supposed to play League of Legends or something. I don't know. Um,
He
but
starts
yeah,
playing
so
Dota
it's like,
instead.
yeah. So if you really want to abstract it, if you're willing to spend points, Furia and Pain are all you should really bother buying.
Right.
But if you're scrapping for points,
Vivo
kind of,
Keyed is out there.
yeah, no, they might be on the up and up. They might be on the roster now.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning into the show tonight. Another episode of Flight Check in the books. We take on Lion.
Leon.
And I'm going to check the time real quick. But of course, Leaguepedia is moving real slow. While I check
I think we're the Sunday match. I think we're the first Sunday match.
We're the first Sunday match. If we're wrong,
Yeah.
we're wrong. C'est la vie. Be sure to tune in on Twitter for all of our reactions and thoughts to the Lion match. Maybe we play Zamudo.
We
Maybe
are
we
Saturday. We are the second Saturday match.
Oh,
Just kidding.
Just kidding.
C'est la vie.
well, regardless of whether we play Zamudo or Surdy, you can catch the show at Flight Check Crew, myself at Santos DB, Nox at NoxWar with 2 R's, and Curly at Curly_WQ_. Do make sure to hop into the Flight Check Discord as well. All kinds of esports discussion and otherwise taking place in there. If you missed any part of the episode, the VOD is going to be up on YouTube tonight or tomorrow morning. If you're watching that and want to catch the show live, I have great news. We do broadcast the episode every Monday night, usually at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at twitch.tv/FlightCheckCrew. Nox, any final notes, shoutouts, or plugs before we wrap up?
You know what? Shout out to me, grand champion of the Flight Check Teamfight Manager League, baby. Number
true.
1. Brought it home, nice and easy. 3-1 versus Isa in the grand finals. It was a great time.
That was a good time. I fully enjoyed myself. Curly, how about you?
Well, you took it my shout out. Dang. Yeah, I was gonna shout you out. No, it's okay. It's okay. Actually, you know what?
Do it anyway. Feed the ego.
Shout out to the devs of Team Fight Manager, actually, because they made a real neat little game. It was very fun.
Yeah.
And I've never done like management type stuff, and so being able to continually like stress about draft, and how good my players are doing and why they can't seem to perform right at the right moments, and when do you ult? It was nice. It was fun. It felt like I was playing League of Legends, but without playing League of Legends.
Right, without the stress of playing League and having to say yes.
Like I'm not the one failing the ult. I'm just like,
Right.
What are you doing, man?
Yeah.
And it was real fun. And somehow, sometimes I would pull off like 1 kill wins. It was good. It's a good game. You guys should check it out.
My shout is going to be to Riftbound. Pre-orders started today. The booster boxes sold out so fast. I did manage to get the a $30 copy, because it's kind of cheap, surprisingly, of basically like the starter kit, which is like you get 4 decks for $30.
Hey, bring that down to Dallas. I want to play with you.
Unfortunately, it doesn't ship until late October.
Never mind.
So that's can't happen. But the game doesn't ship until late October. So it sounds like it's going to be a nice little early Christmas present to myself. But you get 4 decks: Master Yi, Braum, Annie, and can't remember who. Maybe Jin. Might have been Jin. I can't remember all 4 decks, but I'm really looking forward to playing that. I will certainly be at my local game store buying some boosters and cracking open those rare cards. This is like, I feel, my first opportunity to get in on the ground floor of a TCG that I really, really, really hope takes off. I don't think it'll ever like take down Magic, right? But like, I really hope this is like, maybe it could get to like Pokemon TCG level. That'd be so cool. And to be able to get on the ground floor of that, I would really, really love. So, looking forward to Riftbound. Can't wait to play it. I think it's going to be an excellent time. And I still got to actually learn how the game works. So, there's all that. All right. We'll be back next week talking about the end of Pick and Play and previewing playoffs. So for now, do stay safe out there and bite your teeth. Do not forget to hit the head on the nail. And we'll see you all very, very soon. Adios, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.
Peace, y'all.